Hi guys, can one of you tell me if you can hear me?
Yes, but it's very echoey.
Okay. Hey Mike, can you maybe do something with your computer?
You still need it on? You still need it on?
If it's not going to create feedback, but I think it's creating.
It's gonna keep.
Okay, you can just shut it off. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're waiting for a few more people. And this is just fourth period. Right now, I thought it might be easier just to meet with you separately. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, so I'm going to just go through and just unmute yourself when I just want to say hi to you. So Zach D.
Hi.
Hi. Chelsea.
Hello.
Hello. Aaron, is Aaron on yet?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good. We don't have Alex yet. We'll come back to that. Sarah.
Hi.
Hi. Kirsten.
Hi.
Hello there. David.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, David.
Hi.
Abby.
Hello.
Hello. Scott.
Hello.
Hi there. Evan.
Hello.
Hello. Do we have Emerson yet?
He's in here. I don't know if he has a
Yeah,
mic.
he's in here. Hey, Emerson. Emerson, if you're having trouble with sound, the bottom left-hand corner, you can unmute yourself. Okay, we'll come back to Emerson. Zach S.
Hello.
Hello there. Michael.
I'm here.
You're here. All right. Hannah.
Hi.
Hi. Grace.
Hello.
Hello there. Olivia. We don't have Olivia yet. Okay. Do we have Emerson?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Okay. And Ka.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. So we have Emerson. Let's see. We just didn't have Alex or Olivia yet. So while we're waiting to see if they get on, why don't you look to see whatever questions you have? That's what I want to answer for you today. On Blackboard, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blackboard. Thank you. Okay. So there were two problems. Nope. I'm giving you a pre-calc screen. You don't want to see that one. Let me get your screen. Okay. That looks better. All right. So there was a short video. If you didn't watch it yet, it just goes over two problems on solving differential equations. And then it goes over, I believe, 39A, 19, and 15. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second video goes over pages 9 and 10, all of them in the midterm review packet, and the AP Calc Bible, page 18, all of them on that page. Okay, so just in case you had questions there. And then if you didn't, I know a bunch of you, if you look at number 3, it says enter your answers to test L. That link is right above. If you click on this link, it's going to have you put your answers in for part 1 of test L, which was the non-calculator multiple choice. And then the second one is put your answers to test L, the second part, which was the multiple choice calculator. And then the third one is just put your number for your total from the points from the free response. And if you haven't gotten those done, you know, as you get them, put those in there so we can kind of get an idea of what you would have gotten had the AP test stayed what it was. However, for those of you that didn't meet with us last week, the AP test will still happen. You will take it from home. It will be 45 minutes total. And what we're hearing is that it'll probably be 3 free response questions. It will not cover chapter 7 in our book, which is on volumes. And we kind of have like a little bit of an idea of what might be on there. I have some resources that we can use to help practice. Okay, so at this point, we're doing the Zoom meeting, which is number 4. And then the homework's going to be to practice some differential equations on page 29 and to do free response questions that revolve. I have a feeling that there are going to be questions on differential equations and slope fields on this exam. So page 24 has a couple problems there. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to questions, and anything you have questions on, I will be happy to answer. Don't all speak at once. Okay, so can anyone tell me, like, are the videos when you email me questions and I post those, is that helping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes,
just
up a lot.
get to my spot where I had questions. Can we look at more separation of variables stuff? Like the 2 ones in the video that we were supposed to watch before. Like I watched that video and it helped, but I just want to, like, I'm not really comfortable with that concept
Okay.
yet.
Okay, so why don't we do a couple problems on the homework worksheet on page 29?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so why don't we all try to look at page 29? And I'm going to try to switch what you're looking at, if I can figure this out, to my iPad. Give me 1 second. Okay, can you see the worksheet for tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you look through that and pick a couple problems that we want to work through.
Number 8.
Number 8, you got it. Okay, so let's go to number 8. Ooh, that one looks great, huh? Okay, when we separate variables, we have to get all of the x's with the dx and the t's with the dt. Okay, so take a minute to think about how we might do that in this case. Because normally what has to happen is we have to have 2 terms. So we have to think about how we could get that right side to look a little different. Anyone have an idea?
Can you factor it or like separate them?
Yeah, let's try. Let's try to factor, okay? So I'm going to leave dx dt alone. What could I do on this side to factor? Could we take out that x? think about this as 1 times the quantity 1 plus t minus x times the quantity 1 plus t. Could we do this? Okay, we could check that by foiling to make sure we get back to the top. And now we'll be able to separate this. I'm going to multiply both sides by dt. Then what do we need to get rid of?
The 1 minus x.
Yeah, the 1 minus x. Now, whoever, I don't know if it was Emerson, someone who said that let's do a few more of these. Is it the actual separating or is it going from there?
Yeah, like this one, I kind of got lost between like steps like 1 and 2. Like I get factoring out the negative x. Like I don't know how you go from that step to the second step where we have the 2 binomials. Like
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Confuses me too.
So think about if you had, let's say y minus xy. I'm going to think of this as a y and that minus xy. I can factor out the y. Okay, do you see that? So what I'm basically doing, this quantity I'm thinking of as y. So if I factor that out, when I divide this by 1 plus t, I'll get 1. When I divide this by 1 plus t, I'll get minus x.
I get that now. Yeah, I
Does that
was
make sense?
missing the y quantity. I got it.
Yeah, and it's kind of tricky because there wasn't a number in front of that first quantity, so it makes it a little bit harder. Now, once we get to this step, are we okay with going through? Let's just go through this one to integrate it. On the left side, what do we need to do? Anyone?
ln, like it's gonna be u is gonna be 1 minus x. Right?
Yeah, yeah. So before we can integrate, we have to balance with a negative. Then the right side's going to work out nice. 1 plus t dt. Now this is where it gets a little bit confusing, or it can get really tricky because this negative is going to throw us off. When we integrate that, I'm going to go up here, I'll get negative ln of the absolute value of u Now, I can't exponentiate. I want to get rid of the ln. I can't exponentiate unless I have an e to the ln. Those have to be right next to each other. So that negative's in the way. So you could do a couple of things. One thing you could do is use properties of logs and make it an exponent. When you do that, it creates more fractions. So I think that's a little bit tougher to do. Oops. Let me try to move this out of the way. I don't know if you see this. Oops. Got to get that out. There we go. Okay. But I think a little bit easier instead of using those properties is just to multiply the entire equation by a negative. So I have ln absolute value of 1 minus x equals negative t minus t squared over 2 minus c. If I wanted to, I could make that c1. And then if I do a minus times c1, I'm going to let that be c, just my c value. I don't think you have to really differentiate between your c's. I don't think they will take off, but if you want to do that, especially if you're moving on and taking a higher calc, that might be something that you want to do. At this point, then I can exponentiate. Now, exponentiating means e is the base, and that whole, like both sides become exponents. So the e to the ln cancels out. And this actually means e to the negative t times e to the negative t squared over 2 times e to the c. This is where we tend to make a ton of mistakes, because what people will do is they will put, instead of a times here and here, they'll put a plus sign. But think about if you were going back and combining these, since they're the same base, you add the exponents. Okay. Now, since e to any power is always positive, we could actually remove those absolute values because that's going to be positive. And then e to the c, I'm just going to make a constant because it's a number to a number. And then I can recombine these together by adding the exponents. E to the negative t minus t squared over 2.
Mrs. Everhart,
Yes,
why is that C so positive?
the c, okay. From this step up here,
Yeah.
okay. So plus C1, when we distribute a negative sign through a constant we don't know, it's just still going to be a constant we don't know. So I could make this C1, and then when I multiply by a -1, I could just say that's C.
Okay, see, okay, I got
Okay.
it.
And I could even do this. I could say, okay, this is C2. So e to the C2 is now going to be C. So we have all these different constants we don't know, but it's still going to be a constant we don't know.
All right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to take the x and just solve. I'll take the x to the right side and I'll do 1 minus c e to that exponent. Now in this problem, I think that's all they asked. They didn't give us a specific solution to find, so that's our answer. So that one was a good one to look at because the beginning was very difficult. We had to get it to be just a term on each side. And then this part was difficult because this negative, you can't exponentiate until the e and the ln are right next to each other. So that's why I divided by a negative. And then when you exponentiate, this means e to the power times e to the power times e to the power. Okay, want to do another one?
Yeah.
You pick.
Six.
Number
Anyone
6?
with 6?
So you're 6? Okay. So let's go to 6 and let's think about
Base 1.
separating the variables. So I know the dx, this one's already set up that it's a term on each side, so we can basically just multiply by dx, but then divide by y. So we're integrating 1 over y dy, and we're integrating x dx. And I'll use the C1. I'll go through and just make those C's different. At this point, we have to do what to both sides? This is called exponentiate. Yep. So E and ln are right next to each other. So they're inverses, so they cancel out. This is where it gets a little tricky because this means times e to the c. And almost every year I have people that will make that a plus, so just be careful. And then I'm going to let c be e to the c1. I can lose the absolute values. The reason is e to any power, if you think about the graph, the y values are always positive. And then I can solve and get my solution. Okay, want to do one more?
Yeah.
Can we do number 7?
Sure. All right, so in this one, think about how we're going to separate the U's and the T's. Anyone have an idea?
Could you ln both sides?
Could we ln both sides to start? If we do, we normally don't want to do the ln until we actually have the variable. We don't want to do that with a du or a dt yet. Okay, so before we do that, we really want to separate and get all the u's to one side and all the t's to the other side. But we're
We
thinking,
make it e to the u times e to the 2t.
yeah, there we go. So what we have to do again is use that goofy, we know that property pretty well when we're going the other direction. Like if we had this, we'd remember to add the exponents. We don't always remember that going backwards. Now we can separate. And then we have to take the e to the u to the other side. And I don't know if you remember, we did one like this where if it's e to a negative, like if you leave the e to the u on the bottom, we're going to have a problem because we're not going to be able to integrate it. So we want to make it e to the negative u. Now they already used u's. We're used to using u substitution and they already used a u. So I guess I'll do a v substitution. Just kind of weird. I don't like that they use the u. Any questions up to that point?
We should probably say that that's a different u since we have another u earlier in the problem. I use w as my variable there for the
Oh
t.
yeah, you could. That's good. This part would go, and that's a good point. You might want to use a different variable. And now can we integrate? And I do have to be careful since I use weird letters to go back to the correct substitution. No, we can't ln both sides. I'm going to erase this down here just so I have some room. We can't ln both sides, just like when we exponentiated, the e and the ln had to be right next to each other. So we definitely want to go through and multiply by a negative. Now again, I could do C1 and then minus C1, I could let be C2. I just want to make sure I wrote that somewhere. And then in order to solve, now we can ln both sides. Now this one's kind of weird because that plus c is going to be inside those parentheses when we ln. And I know with natural logs, this thing better be positive. So I'm just going to throw absolute values around it. So we know that that domain for ln is positive. And then the last step I'll do is just multiply by -1. Now, of course, they could do things like, your test isn't going to be multiple choice, so we don't want to have to worry about that. We could leave it in that form. But they could make that -1 an exponent. Okay, questions there? Now, Alex and Olivia didn't join us, so if anyone's a study buddy for Alex and Olivia, just make sure you touch base with them. I'll shoot them an email too. Yeah, what was the question?
Use properties of logs and bring the C2 out and just make it -CLN.
Well, remember the properties of logs are only when it's multiplied.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just be careful. That's why anytime I'm going to use those properties of logs, I like to just jot them down. And if it's not one of those, then I'm making it up. Okay. Other questions that help a little bit?
Yeah.
Because we're going to spend, so the homework would be to go and do the other ones. And then tomorrow is going to be another practice problem on solving and then another worksheet on it. So we will definitely do some practice on this. Questions on the AP Calc Bible or the midterm review problems or the homework? That first homework on this section on 6.3.
And it all feels pretty good. So.
Anyone want to go through any on the homework? Any of those?
No, sorry, I had to find. Could I see number 25?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so 25. Okay, so this one, oh, and did you guys find the link that I found for the book?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so on the announcement page, I found like our entire book in PDF form and the answers. So, you can use that. This one, I want to check to see exactly what it asked for. Can you still see my iPad? Because I'm doing something on my computer.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to the book just to see what the question asked, so I don't make it up. Okay, it says, find an equation of the graph that passes through the point and has the given slope. And we'll do another practice one like this tomorrow. But they give you this ordered pair, they give you the slope. So the first thing that you want to do is change y prime to dy dx so that it's in this differential form so that we can separate the variables. And then once you separate the variables, we can integrate the left side, okay, to get y squared over 2, the right side to get 1/8 x squared, and then we have the plus c. Now, they normally, when it has a y squared, will get rid of fractions. So I multiplied by 2. Now, here's another case where I could have written c1, and then 2c1 is c. So I get y squared equals 1/4 x squared plus c. But what they want to know is the equation that passes through the point 0, 2. So I'm going to use that point 0, 2. I'm going to plug in 0 for x, 2 for y to find out c is 4. And then I can write that equation. Now, I believe the book may have written it this way. This is called general form. So what they've done is they've gone through this equation, multiplied everything by whatever the LCD is to get rid of fractions, and then they'll write it with all the variables on the left and the number on the right. Okay, other numbers. Now I did put in the video for tomorrow. I'm going to go over 13, 19, and 39A. So if you didn't get to this, those problems I'll go over in that video. So we'll do one more problem in the video tomorrow and then that. And then what I have planned then is to do 2 AP-like questions tomorrow. So I'm going to share my screen back to my desktop. Okay, can you see Blackboard now?
Yep.
Okay, so tomorrow, this PDF just has 2 AP-like questions on differential equations. So the first video tomorrow, and I'm trying to keep them all short, but it does one example in the notes, then it tells you the other example in the notes you already did on page 19. So you can do that one if you want more practice. And then the second video is going to go over these 2 examples once you get a chance to do them. And then the gold free response page 24 solutions are in the third video. Any questions? Okay, and then tomorrow night's homework is going to be some review problems. So just let me know what questions you have, because then I'm planning on, you can't see this yet from your side, but on my side, I'm going to put the link to the videos to review any questions that you guys email me. And then there's a short quiz on Blackboard. I think there are 5 questions or 6 questions that'll be open to you Friday so that you can go and practice those. And then I attached the mega multiple choice to tonight on Blackboard. And then what I would like you to do is to put it into Google Classroom. Does everyone know how to do that? Or I should say, does anyone not, so we can tell you?
I'm not sure if I do or not.
Okay, me neither, so that's good. So can someone tell us what we would do if we have something that we need to put in Google Classroom?
There's like, you'll post something on Google Classroom and then it'll say like, turn in your work and add an attachment. So you would click add an attachment, and then whenever it's loaded, you can turn it in. So you'll get the notification that there's attachments.
Okay, so I did this on Google Classroom. And so you would go to this where it says the mega multiple choice.
Yeah, and then for us, it'll say something like view assignment, and then turn in your work and then add an attachment.
Awesome. Okay. So it's going to do this, and you're going to be able to, you can take a picture of it if you want to do it that way. I have something, and I don't know if you guys, I think notes on your phone, on an iPhone, you can put it in PDF form. I have something called, I'll show you an app that I use on my iPad. Let me switch back. I'll show you what that app looks like. It is, I don't know what it's, Scannable. So I could go to Scannable and it will actually search for a document. You know, and right now, and then I'll just, like, I can take a picture of it. It'll automatically take a picture once it finds the document. So that is called Scannable. I'm sure you guys have fancier ways to do it. You are much more tech savvy than I. Anyone else give us suggestions?
The school iPads have Notability, so you can just click on the PDF and like export it to Notability, and then you can just write on it and then turn that back in. So that's another
Awesome.
way.
Yeah, thank you. That's Notability that my son had to do some CCD homework. So I had him using Notability. He now wants it on his device because he thought it was pretty cool.
So if I don't have a school iPad or Notability, should I just like print that PDF sheet out and then do it there and maybe like take a picture and put that on the ad and create? I'm sitting on Google Classroom right now looking at it, and that's all it has. It's just the PDF. So should I just like print it out, do it, and then take a picture and like email it?
Are
and
you
then
able to do
add
that? Do you have printer capabilities? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You can, if you do need an iPad, I think the school, you can contact the counselor. I think you can get one.
Yeah, they sent out an email for the 12th graders. I don't know. I personally just don't need one, so I figured I just wouldn't have them.
Okay.
Send an extra one to me.
Pictures are fine.
Okay. That's what I'll do then.
Okay. Other questions? Please email me with any questions, anything. If you're struggling, if you're, not able to get something, if you're frustrated, let me know. I'm going to do optional Zoom hours today at 2 if you have any other questions. Or if you have any suggestions on how I can help you better, email me.
What all do we need to turn in? Is it just the test L answers?
Test L answers for now. Yeah, you'll just put those into Blackboard, and then the mega multiple choice for Monday. I may have you just upload some other things, worksheets or whatever, but just make sure you're keeping up with things. What we'll switch to after, we'll probably have some type of assessment for chapter 6 that you'll turn into Google Classroom as well. And I want to keep that free response because that's what your test is going to be like. So, we'll do it, but it's going to be a little different than what we would be doing. Any other questions? Who is Alex and Olivia's study buddies? Anybody?
I'm study buddies with Olivia.
Okay. Is there any way you can contact her? Just make sure she's getting the emails, because maybe she didn't for some reason get the email.
Yeah, I have her number.
Or you could have, I know we were having internet issues. I think with everyone trying to get on the internet, it could be an internet issue. And I'm hoping she's not sick. So, but if you check with her, anybody for Alex? Okay, I'll try to reach out to her again. Any questions?
Might be another class. She might have a study buddy in another class. I don't know. But.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. Okay, so would you want me to do another meeting? Like now, do you want me to do them once or twice a week? Do you want them more often? Do you want me to just do optional hours?
I think these are helpful. So it could be nice if it was optional, but I mean, they're helpful, so.
Okay. So what I'll probably do tomorrow is just do an optional one tomorrow and Friday. Would 2 o'clock be okay? Because then that it won't be interfering with anyone else, and then I'll just have all of the groups.
That seems like it would be a lot better.
Okay.
I'm working, so I wouldn't be able to make it, but that's okay.
Okay. I can, I think I'm allowed to record it and post that. So I'll try to see if that'll work.
That would be helpful.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else, stay safe, stay healthy. I miss seeing you guys.
Miss you too.
Miss you too.
Miss you too.
Miss you too.
All right. Well, email me, please. And then if you want to come back at 2 o'clock today, come on back to the Zoom classroom.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
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 Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.